Christmas is a joyous occasion and it's a season of giving, of love, and celebration. It's a perfect time to make meaningful holiday cards to send to families and friends. Hi, my name is Joly and I'm a watercolor artist and online art educator based in the Philippines. Let's grab a hot cup of coffee and look for a cozy spot in our home. Then let's start painting these cards. We are going to talk about the materials that we need. Let's first talk about the paints. I'm going to use the brand Shinhan PWC. So this is a Korean artist grade paint. It comes in tubes like this, but I usually just pour it into half pans because it's easier and more convenient to use that way. Next, we'll need a mixing palette. So I'm just using the lid of my watercolor tin. This is from the brand Core Watercolor, but the paints that I'm using inside is Shinhan PWC. I just like this watercolor tin, that's why I'm using it the most. But of course, you can also use a plastic or ceramic palette. Now let's go to the colors that we need. I'm going to use Hooker's Green. For the blues, we are going to use Indigo, Prussian Blue, Permanent Violet. For the brushes, I'm going to use the brand Silver Brush, and the series I'm using is Black Velvet. So this is a mix of synthetic and squirrel hair. I'm using round brushes and the sizes are 4 and 6. I like using this brush because it can hold a lot of water and still keeps its point. So it's very important that you choose brushes that are pointy. I also like that these brushes are quite soft. That's why it's following the flow of my strokes. Next up, we have a water jar here, so you can use any jar that you have at home. And then we need tissue paper so that we can use it to blot out the excess paint in our brush. So next we need Holbein white gouache. I'm using permanent white. We're going to add white gouache to add that snowy effect and also to add some fillers. So gouache is somewhere in between watercolor and acrylic. The good thing about gouache is that you can reactivate this paint once it dries on your palette. We also need a gold metallic paint. I'm using the one from the Etcher Lab watercolor set. The color is called Royal Gold, and I realized that there's so many shades of gold. I decided to go with this yellow gold color because it registers better on camera and you can see it more compared to the other types of gold. So you can also use metallic paints from other brands. I've used the one from Art Philosophy and it also works well. So this is what it looks like on the paper, and you can see that it has a very nice shine and it also doesn't rub off when you touch the paper. So for the paper, I'm going to use the Etcher Lab postcard. This is 100% cotton paper and it's cold press paper. The size is 4 by 6 inches. They also make sketchbooks and I do love their sketchbooks. That's why I'm happy that they also have postcards. I also decided to use this because the paper is already pre-cut. It saves me time from cutting paper, so I can just paint on it and stick it on a holiday card. Next, we need the masking tape. So this is just a regular masking tape from the office supply section. It's about 1 inch in width. We are going to make a snowy Christmas tree design. So this is a very beautiful project and it's also very easy to make. So we need to start with the background first. You need to tape down the sides of your paper. Let's paint just the background with some water. I'm using my round brush, but you can also use a flat brush. So try to spread it as evenly as you can and try to avoid puddles. Let's start with the first color. I'm gonna grab some Prussian blue, and we want this to be a bit more concentrated. And I'm just going to add it at the top portion, and I'm gonna go down and moving just left and right. So as we go down, it becomes lighter. We also prefer that. We want the middle part to be a bit lighter in color. So at the bottom part, we're gonna add a snowy effect, and to do that, let's grab permanent violet and indigo. You have to make sure that you have a lot of water, so we're gonna dilute that. Just gonna add it right here. You just want a few strokes. You don't need to paint the entire area flat with that color. Just want some sweeping strokes like what I'm doing, and we're just going to leave it as is. Now let's move on to painting the tree. So the paper is still damp, and I'm gonna grab Hooker's green. We're going to start at the top. We're just going to stipple our brush to create those small leaves, and you can see that the paint is not spreading so much because I've controlled the amount of water in my brush. If your paint is spreading like crazy on the wet paper, what you can do is you can dab your brush in the tissue paper. So you just want the right amount of water. So right now I'm also leaving some spaces in between my strokes. You can add a bit more color in some areas. Just using the tip of my brush and just moving left and right. So we just want the blurry effect of this Christmas tree. We're gonna add the main form of this tree later on. So this doesn't have to look perfect at all. Then towards the bottom, you can see that it's a little bit slanted. I'm gonna leave it as is because I want the illusion that it's sitting on a snowy slope. Let's add some contouring. I'm gonna add some shadows using Hooker's green and indigo. You want this shadow below the leaves. And my paper is still damp as I do this. You can see that the paint is feathering, or it looks like it's blurring out. That's because the paper is still damp. It's still a little bit wet. Okay, so maybe I'm gonna add a little bit more on the top just to fix the shape. And then let's grab some white gouache. I'm gonna add some splatters of white gouache that will look like snow. So my paper is actually still wet. I want some of that splatter to blend in with the background. So I'm just gonna continue adding because I want it to look snowy. So I'm gonna add a lot of white splatters. After which we are going to wait for this to dry before we add some more details. So I'm just gonna touch the paper and make sure it's dry. And if it's already dry, let's grab some Hooker's green and let's start painting the leaves. I'm gonna use just the tip of my brush and just lightly touch it and create those wispy strokes. I'm gonna make sure that there are spaces in between my strokes and that you can still see the blurry background underneath. It's important to build this little by little. You can also try to rinse your brush and just paint a lighter green color. You can see that towards the sides of the tree, I'm making the strokes small and just pointing outward. Okay, now let's grab some more color. This one has more pigment, so it's a darker Hooker's green. So if some of the strokes are a little bit too bold, what you can do is you can grab some water and just blur it out. So the technique here is to add some sharp edges and mix it with some soft edges. And also try to wiggle your brush so that you can get these nice expressive strokes. Alright, it's now time to add some contouring or some shadows on this Christmas tree. So I'm going to mix hooker's green and indigo, and we're gonna add this like underneath the leaves. So we're doing this while this Christmas tree is still wet. So just to make it easier for you to understand, when you're painting a tree, you want the top part to be lighter in color, and then the bottom will be a bit darker because that's where the shadow is. So towards the bottom, I'm just gonna grab a clean brush and just blur that bottom part. You want it to look soft and you want it to blend in with the snow. Okay, now we're gonna add some snowy effect again on the bottom part. We're gonna grab some permanent violet. Then let's add some indigo and add a lot of water. Let's paint some diagonal strokes. So we're not gonna fill in the entire area with this color. You just want a few strokes that will give the impression that this is a snowy slope. Alright, now let's wait for this piece to dry before we add the snowy effect. So just touch the paper and check if it's really dry. Then you can grab some white gouache. I'm gonna add some snowy details. So the snow will go on top of the leaves. Just lightly touch your brush on the paper to create some nice expressive strokes. And also we want a thick mixture of gouache because we want the snow to be really white. When you're doing this project, it's better to really use 100% cotton paper so that your paper will keep its moisture for a longer period of time. If you're using student grade paper, usually the paint dries faster. That's why it's difficult to do the wet on wet technique on student grade paper. Okay, now I'm gonna add some snow. I'm gonna grab some white gouache and just tap my brush on a pen or on another brush. Let's just add some more splatters on this painting. Okay, now let's wait for this layer to dry again, and I'm going to add another layer of snow. So my gouache dried up pretty light. I'm gonna add another layer of gouache. So we're just gonna go on top of the same spots that we did. You can see that there's a big difference. If you add the second layer of gouache, it is really whiter, and that's what we are aiming for in this project. We want a snowy effect. So to further give this more contrast, we're gonna add hooker's green and indigo. I'm going to add some more shading or contouring. Let's add some shadow. I'm going to add this below the white gouache that we added. And this technique will make the snow pop up even more. So let's just do that all around this tree. In some parts, I'm just gonna extend the sides of the Christmas tree. I'm gonna dab a few leaves. Okay, so this entire painting is already dry, and now let's grab our gold metallic paint, and I'm going to add some Christmas ornaments. So I think I'm just gonna add some round Christmas balls, and it will look really good on this painting. If you have other colors of metallic paint, you can also add that on this Christmas tree so that it looks more festive. Okay, now for the top part, of course, we're gonna add a star. So I'm just gonna draw the outline first, and then we're gonna fill in this star. It's now time to peel off this masking tape, and it's going to reveal a very nice clean edge. And again, when you're peeling this tape, you have to peel it at an angle. I usually peel it close to the surface so that I won't accidentally ruin the paper. Alright, and there you go. That's your snowy Christmas tree. I hope that you enjoyed painting this project.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all of our latest videos.